Hello, this is Angie with Alexander Reborns Nursery, and I am here today to do a tutorial on how to make magnetic pacifiers, and not only how to make magnetic pacifiers, but also how to make them universal. So there's two ways you can make pacifiers. Obviously, we all have multiple reborn babies and not all their pacifiers are the same. So I ran into an issue of buying pacifiers off of sellers, and when I got them, the pacifiers didn't fit the baby's mouth and they would repel off. And then I would be stuck with just a whole bunch of pacifiers that I couldn't use. Or I could only use them on certain babies. And if one baby was a girl, then I would have boy pacifiers. And if it was a boy, I would have girl pacifiers. So it was just a big mess. So I'm going to teach you how to have the same pacifier and use them for your boys or your girls and make them universal so that you won't be buying multiple pacifiers and having to flip magnets, taking magnets off by glue and re-gluing them and things like that. But first, I just want to start it with how to make a regular magnetic pacifier where you're going to glue the magnet onto the pacifier. So the first thing that I've done, as you can tell here, is I removed the nipple from the pacifier using an X-Acto knife. I use an X-Acto knife because it gets closer to the edge of the nipple and can cut the nipple all the way off to where it's a smooth surface. So I did that first. I did that for the sake of time. I did it off camera, but that's the first step that you want to do, is removing that nipple. So I did that with both of the pacifiers that I'm going to use today, is I removed the nipples. Okay, to make your standard pacifier, you want to have some type of glue, some type of, let's see what they call it, some type of sealant. This is called B7000. Now you can use I think it's called E6000, which is what I normally use, but I ordered this off of Amazon and I realized that it works just as well. It's like an adhesive that you can use to get the magnet in place. So we're going to use that one today. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure you have a soft surface to put your glue onto so that you can add your magnet. So you have your pacifier, and then you also have your magnets. 10 millimeters by 12. Those are the ones that I use. They're normally strong enough for my babies, but depending on your baby and the size of the mouth and how their magnet was put in, you can choose which size magnet you want to use. But my 10 millimeters by 12 normally work well for my babies. So here are my stack of magnets. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the glue to the magnet. Cool, the magnet just stuck to the scissors. Of course, because they're magnetic. And the good thing about this is it has a little prick in it, so you don't have to like try to get something to stick down into the glue to open the hole. It already comes with the prick, so it makes sure that the glue is open when it's ready to be used. But anyway, you take your pacifier and you add your dab of glue there, right in the center where you're going to put your magnet. Now, depending on your baby, sometimes you can put that glue either at the top, maybe the bottom. It just kind of depends on how the magnet sets on your baby. Sometimes you can put it up here, you can put it at the bottom, but again, it just depends. But most babies, you could put your magnet right in the middle. So I have my magnet here, and I have the glue already in the middle, and I'm just going to add the magnet right there on top of the glue. Scooch, scooch, scooch. And I'm going to give it just a gentle press down to keep it in place. And then you have your magnet added to your pacifier. Then you want to let those sit for 24 hours so that the glue and the magnet can stick to each other and can also stick to the pacifier. And then you will have your magnetic pacifiers for your babies that have a magnet placed in their mouths. Okay, so the second thing that I learned is with my babies with having multiple babies, I want to use the same pacifier on different babies. So I learned a technique where you can do that, and it's called a universal pacifier. So with that, there's a few extra steps that you have to take, but once you do it, it is a great way to have pacifiers that you can use for all of your babies. So with that, you're going to use your tools that you'll use are a little different. You don't need any adhesive. So you're done with that. You don't need any of that. All you're going to need for this technique is your glue gun. You're going to need to cut up some squares that are made out of felt. So these squares came from a large piece of felt, and I just cut out small squares because that's what I'm going to use to put on the back of my pacifier. So you're going to need some felt. You're also going to need magnets because we're still going to need that magnet to put inside for our pacifiers. Of course, you're going to need some glue to go inside of your glue gun because you'll be using a glue gun with this technique. And also Velcro. Okay, so with using these items, I'm going to show you how they work so perfectly when you're trying to create a universal magnet. The very first thing that you do is you want to take your pacifier with the nipple is still cut off. You want to take your pacifier and you want to add just a small piece of Velcro. A piece of Velcro to your pacifier. And you want to make sure it's the side that's on the sticky side. You want to do the sticky side, the prickly side of the vel. You don't want the soft side that actually sticks to the prickly side, but you want the prickly side. Okay. So I'm just going to take one off and I'm going to cut just a small piece off of here and I'm going to stick that onto my pacifier. Just like that. That actually is more than enough, but I'm just going to use that piece since that's the piece that came off. You can make it smaller than that. You can make it larger. It just kind of depends, but you don't want to make it too big. Actually, I'm going to take a piece off of that. Now, the type of Velcro that I bought, it's already sticky on the back. You can buy some Velcro that is just, that's not sticky, and you can use your glue gun to put on the back and stick it to your pacifier. But I always buy the kind that already has the adhesive on the back. But I'm going to take some of that off so that it's not so big on the pacifier. A little bit more. Okay. So there is my piece of Velcro. Now that I have that cut, I'm going to take that piece of Velcro and I'm going to add it to not the very tip, but towards the top of your pacifier. That is your first step to your universal pacifier. There we go. So there we go. So we have our piece of Velcro on the back of our pacifier. That's the very first step on creating your universal pacifier. After you've done that step, it's time now to add a piece of felt. Now what this is going to do, you cut it in squares. You can cut it in a square, you can cut it in a heart. However way you want to cut it for your baby is fine, but you want it to be big enough that it is going to cover that piece of Velcro. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to use our glue gun to glue this onto the back of the pacifier, leaving the very top of it open. Okay, we're going to leave it open enough that a magnet can slide right through. So when we put on our glue, it's going to be kind of like half it's going to be like a square leaving off the top. So we'll put it on one line here, one line here, one line there, and one line there. And we're not going to put any at the very top where we put the Velcro. We're going to leave that spot open. So we're going to use our glue gun. So we're going to add the glue onto the pacifier, just in a half of a circle, or 3/4 of a circle. And then we're going to take the piece of felt that we cut and we're going to place it onto the pacifier. And we're going to push it down to make sure the felt is glued into place. I like to give it really good press here because we want to make sure that it's glued down really well and the magnet will stay in place. Okay, so there we go. We have our pacifier, we have our felt in there, and as you can see, the Velcro that we put at the top is now covered by the felt, and that's on purpose. That way, when we do our last step, you'll figure out why I've done it that way. But right now, the felt is glued down, the very top is still open, and the reason for that is we need to be able to put a magnet inside. Okay, now that we allow that glue to settle and to dry a little bit, it's time to insert a magnet. Now I do this to kind of give a little space in between there so that the magnet can slide in easily. I kind of just push up on the felt just a little bit, and I take my magnet and I slide it right into my pacifier. Pushing it all the way in. All the way down. And I close it by using that piece of Velcro that we put in place. And then it should look like that. So you have your magnet. Now that it's in place, you can use this to put onto your baby that you need to use it for. Now let's say that you get another baby and you love this pacifier so much, but you have a magnet and it's not the right way. Because we made this magnet to be universal, all you have to do is detach the felt from the Velcro, slide the magnet out, flip it over, put it back in, and then the same pacifier can be used for a different baby. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So here's how the pacifier started. We want to use it for a different baby whose pacifier may be on a different side. So then we're just going to pull that Velcro apart. You can use your finger, or you can just use the magnet, and you just slide that magnet right on out. Just like that. You slide the magnet out, you flip the magnet over, and you put it right back in. Push it down, close it back up with the Velcro. Close it up, make sure you give it a little push. I'm using my nails, so I'm cheating a little bit because they're sharp enough to be able to push down on. And now you have the same pacifier with the magnet, with the Velcro, with the felt, and it can be used for your second baby. So this is what I call a universal pacifier versus your standard pacifier who has the magnet, which has the magnet in place. Both are very useful. Both can work for your babies. Only one can be used for both babies. This is great for the collectors that have more than one baby and want to continue to use the same pacifier for multiple babies. This one is great for the collectors who have maybe one or two babies and want to make multiple pacifiers. This technique works as well. So there you go. That's 2 ways on how to make pacifiers for your babies. All right, as you can see, this pacifier fits fine for baby Selena here. There's no problem. It sticks fine. And this is our universal pacifier, the one that we just made. But when I try to use the same pacifier for Lincoln, no go, no go. He will not take it. But because I love it so much, I am going to flip that magnet and make it for Lincoln. And I'm going to cheat again and use my nail. Close it back up. As you can see, it's back closed. And now, Mr. Lincoln has the pacifier, and he's a happy baby. So now we have a pacifier that they both can use. And as Lincoln is using the pacifier, now Selena cannot use it. So that's how a universal pacifier works. If you want to use a pacifier for both babies, you just flip that magnet and use it for the second baby. So that's how we do it, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that I was clear enough and you all understand. If you have any questions, feel free to comment and ask as many questions as you want, and I'll be able to clear that up. If you like the video, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. And thank you all for watching. You all have a good day.